Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. I hope all of you are fine and doing well. So the topic we will discuss today it is the simple introduction to the biochemistry. That what is the main study of the living organisms and how we can have a simple look about the different properties of the organic compounds or the all organic compounds that are present in the living organisms. So simple when we talk about the biochemistry, it is known as the chemistry of life, as it is the branch of chemistry and it is known as the chemistry of life because the word bios mean is basically life and the chemistry mean all the chemical reactions that are taking place in the living organisms. So the simple biochemist uses the physical and the chemical principles to explain the biology at the molecular level. As we have already learned the molecules are of two types micromolecules and second type we have macromolecules. So when we have the simple study at the molecular level of the different living organisms, this is known as the biochemistry, and the basic principle of the biochemistries are all common to all the living organisms. That how if we have the simple look on the process of the digestion, that how the digestion just takes place. If we have the simple look on the respiration, all these processes and what are the main chemicals involved in all these processes, all will be studied under the biochemistry. On the other hand, it is a simple field that has great importance today. It deals all the molecules that are present in the living organisms, that how they are synthesized, how they are prepared and how they work in the living organisms. We all just studied it under biochemistry. Then we have the macromolecules. Basically, this field of the biochemistry, simple, it deals with the different occurrence of the macromolecules. So here the word macromolecules, we have four types of macromolecules in the living organisms. The first one we have carbohydrates, we have lipids, we have proteins, and we have the nucleic acids. All these four are mainly the macromolecules, that how they are synthesized by the living organisms. If they are synthesized by the living organisms, on the other hand, what is their effect on the living organisms? What are their main uses in the living organisms? On the other hand, that to how much extent these macromolecules are important in the living organism. That can we survive without the carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, or the nucleic acids? So all the question arises, and we just have to find the answers. For example, the carbohydrates that we eat, they just provide us simple energy that we use to do the simple exercises or work in our daily life. On the other hand, the lipid, they are also main source of energy. Lipids are known as main source of energy for the living organisms and they are also stored in the body. This is the first thing, they can be stored in the body and they can be later used when there is no food for us. On the other hand, they also help us to work during tough times. So it's mean lipids are more important. On the other hand, the proteins, they not only provide us energy, but they also help us to stay strong. They also help us to stay strong by forming the new bonds. It's mean the proteins are helping in the formation of the bones as well as in the formation of the muscles. So this is the important use of the proteins in our daily life. On the other hand, we have nucleic acid. The nucleic acid is responsible for the transmission of the genetic information and Nucleic acids we have its two forms. The first one we have DNA, which is deoxyribonucleic acid, and we have RNA, which is ribonucleic acid. Both are responsible for the transmission of the hereditary material from one generation to another generation. So they passes out the simple genetic information from one generation to another generation. Then we have the simple scope of the biochemistry. That what is the scope of biochemistry in our life or in this world? As without biochemistry, we will not be able to learn about the living organisms. As we just eat food, when we eat food, how the energy passes to our body or muscles, and what is its amount, that what type of reaction is just involved in this process. It is studied under biochemistry. On the other hand, we have the macromolecules, which is carbohydrates. The second, we have lipids. The third one, we have proteins. All these three members of the macromolecules, they just break down. That how they did they break down, how did they produce energy, how did they store the energy, and how did they form the muscles, all will be studied under the one branch of chemistry. This branch of chemistry is simply called as the biochemistry. So the word bios means simple life and chemistry mean all the reactions that are taking place in the living organism. They are studied under the biochemistry. So this was a simple topic about the introduction of the biochemistry. I hope you guys understand. And if you have any queries, you may ask me about that in the comment section and I will get back to you guys soon. And the next topic we will discuss it is the first macromolecule, which is known as the carbohydrate. For that time, you guys keep learning and have a good day.